What does it take to win in business?
Humility. There's a whole lot of answers that I can give you, but the one that means the most and that makes you the most money is humility. When you can sit down and take somebody else's idea as your own, follow a simple set of instructions without deviating from the plan, you can make a fortune.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. And I got a treat for you guys today. We're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about solar. We're going to talk about personal development and a whole bunch of other things. So with that being said, let me introduce you guys to my main man, Mr. Samuel Bean. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm fantastic. Happy to be here, man. Happy to be here.
Yes. I'm happy you're here, bro.
Like I said, you talked about having conversations about money, wealth, future, and everything else. I'm here.
And listen, I have to start off by talking about this. First of all, weather's a little bit different than in Houston right now, right?
Right. You're just going to dive on in, huh?
Just diving in, man. We're going to dive right in, man.
Right.
No, because I was in Houston 3 weeks ago. Super hot. Beautiful, though.
Yeah.
Especially with our community, right, from the team. Amazing people.
Right.
But it's very hot.
Very.
Very hot, right? And the interesting thing is I was there three and a half weeks ago, and about 2 weeks later, the hurricane hits.
Right.
It was a hurricane, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about the hurricane, bro. Let's dive right into there.
Well, first and foremost, Texas is already primed for solar. So it's always a great place to do business when it comes to solar. But it made solar that much more important,
Right.
because a lot of people were without electricity. So you're looking at about 3 million homes that was without electricity in the state of Texas alone. So you had a lot of people who, we're talking about 3 or 4 days. People's lights didn't come back on at a minimum for at least 2 days.
Wow.
And so I had people 3, 4 days, some even 5 and 6. And so you had a lot of people who were had to relocate. Matter of fact, FEMA had to come in and give people hotel rooms in different cities.
Right.
We had people coming in from all around the U.S. To help CenterPoint Energy get people back up and running with it when it comes to energy, which is crazy because we end up seeing a lot of clippings and news videos of CenterPoint trucks just sitting there, and people who had flew in and drove in was at a standstill. They weren't doing anything. And come to find out is because CenterPoint wouldn't agree on what they were going to pay them. Not only did they not agree on what they were going to pay them, they didn't take care of any of their travel expenses. They didn't take care of any of their lodging.
Wow.
And you have conspiracy theorists that says that it's about money, and I tend to lean on that as well because I live in a planned community, and my lights are normally back on the same day or within 24 hours, regardless of the damage. And our lights didn't come on for 4 days, and so that was in the whole entire subdivision.
So you guys didn't have electricity, so it means you also didn't have internet.
Yeah, no internet, no phone calls. Matter of fact, I called you the day I called you.
Yeah.
I was on top of a bridge, the highest point in the neighborhood that goes over the train track by the golf course. And I had sat there, pulled over on side of the bridge, on side of the road, on the bridge, just so I can catch up on phone calls. I think I ran about $45 worth of gas, making phone calls in my car that day.
Yeah. No, what's crazy though is that people don't think about situations like that, right?
Right.
And it happens more often than people think, right? Some people say, oh, I don't experience that much. That doesn't mean you can't experience it. And when you get to a situation like that is when you realize it's one of those things that's better to have and not need than to need and not have.
Of course.
A solar system with a backup battery. That's the business that we're in. That's our primary product, right?
Yeah.
So you guys in Houston and Texas get hit hard because what happened in Dallas a couple of years ago, a freeze out, like 290 people lost their lives because of that. Now you guys were out of electricity for 3 days, 3 million homes. That's outrageous, man.
Yeah. And when you look at, you had people who did lose their lives in Houston, based on the heat, because they had nowhere to go. You had people who were spending $800, $700, $900 a night for hotel rooms that normally go for $89 a night, $99 a night. You had people who lost everything in their refrigerators, everything in their freezers, deep freezers.
Yep.
And then, it was almost impossible for them to get food and stuff like that because most of the stores are closed. And,
They're only taking cash?
and then the ones that were actually open, they took cash. Plus, they made people stand outside in the line. Like we had grocery stores that had lines around the corner. Yeah, and so gas stations were the same thing. If you can find a gas station that was open, it was probably about 25 to 35 minutes. Like I had to drive 35 minutes from my home to get gas, and not just for the car, but I have a generator that's plugged up to my electric box that powers my house. And so I had to go get gas for that. So that was like $65 a day for gas for that.
Right.
So, but just finding a place that had gas was a challenge. And then when you did find it, you had to have cash there too, because there was no electricity. They couldn't take credit cards. So it was a big challenge, man. It was one of the worst storms that we had in a while as far as damage, but to compile that with Centerpoint, making their position a little bit stronger for them to increase the rates that like they tried to do early in the year.
Right.
They wanted to increase the rates about 50%, and City of Houston told them no, and they agreed on a lower rate hike, but I think they took it personal, and I think they used this as a stand to kind of hold the city of Houston hostage and the people who were in it. They didn't care anything about, what was going on within those households that didn't have electricity. They cared more about them putting enough pressure on the city to get that hike that they needed.
One of the interesting things is you mentioned so much on this utility company, right? Centerpoint. There's a meme that's going around of the CEO of Centerpoint.
Right.
Sitting in his comfortable office, in his comfortable chair. I don't know how much of this is true as far as his salary says, but the meme says with a $7 million per year salary, and again, I'm just reading what it's telling you what it says. I'm not saying this because this is going online and I'm unapologetic about it. That's why I'm making my disclaimers. So $7 million salary, sitting in his office with the temperature that reads right behind him. The thermostat is there, 70 degrees. But he's telling people to be at 78. Then Centerpoint, when all of this happened, 3 million homes lose their electricity. Another reason why you want to go solar with a backup battery. But in addition to that, you got posts on Facebook going viral saying, I'm an electrician, I'm a lineman from LA, from here, from there. And we are just sitting because Centerpoint is negotiating price on our work. Meanwhile, their customers that have made them rich
are suffering and
are
dying.
suffering. Their kids and grandparents and all that stuff. That's brutal. So the point I'm driving here is corporations. I mean, it sucks, but that happens very often, right? At the end of the day, it comes down to the bottom line, the dollar. But the people that had a solar system with backup batteries, they did not lose electricity. As long as the sun comes out and shines, and it has for 2,000 years plus, right? It always comes out and shines. You're going to produce, you're going to use whatever's excess goes into the battery, and then you get to use that in the evening. The next day, you produce again and you're good to go. The same thing happened in Dallas. When people froze, the people that have a solar system with a backup battery were the ones, there's interviews of people like this say, we were fortunate that we had the foresight to have this. So I tell people, listen, man, if you don't go solar with us, go solar with somebody. But do it. Become independent, right? Raise the value of your home and possibly even save some lives.
You said a mouthful, but you told the truth. And this is the thing. When people know better, they should do better. And a lot of people are wait and see type situations, and they don't make moves until they have to, and then after they experience something like what they just experienced, that's when it's now I gotta do it. And so now you'll start to see a trend of people, going solar even faster, especially in the state of Texas, for sure. Matter of fact, I saw a lot of people actually flying in to the state of Texas from other cities and states to sell solar. They're out there knocking on doors right now because the opportunity is so great for them. So they're actually flying into Houston to service and canvas, our city and our state of Texas.
Which is smart, and that's what capitalism is about. I love capitalism, and you get out there and you see an opportunity to bless people because we really, truly bless people. We really do. You've got people that need electricity to live. You got older people, right, that have these machines to test their health and whatnot. Those people cannot afford, literally, their life depends on electricity.
It does.
Right? And some people may think, well, my life doesn't depend on, trust me, you don't want to go 3 days without electricity, bro. You know what I mean? It costs you a lot more. And it's just, again, one of those things that's better to have and not need.
Well, those are always the people who will be the first ones to complain. And trust me, they're not built for a life without electricity.
Right.
You know what I mean? this is not the caveman
Yeah,
Cro-Magnon days. You know what I mean?
right,
So you
right.
need electricity. Let's just make sure we keep it real. Right now, that's why I believe it's going to be the biggest thing out there. That's why I came back out of retirement, because I just see that solar is so big, and
Yes.
it's something I don't want to miss.
Well, you know what? That leads right into the next segment, Sam, is you've made a lot of money in business, but there's a reason why you came out of retirement of the direct sales industry
Mm.
into this high ticket hybrid company that we've got,
Mhm.
right? So, but before we get into that and the vision and why
Mhm.
you are here, I want to learn a little bit more about your background, right? You've made millions of dollars. The thing that's impressive about you is that you've made millions of dollars in your career, many millions of dollars. However, you've done it in multiple industries, which is
Mhm.
even more. It's not like lightning in a bottle, right? There's
Right.
people that made millions because they caught lightning in a
Right.
bottle. They were at the right place at the right time,
Mhm.
but you've done it multiple times in multiple different industries. So
Mhm.
tell me a little bit about the first million you made, the second million, et
Mhm.
cetera.
Well, it has a lot to do with a lot of hustle and a lot of humility,
Okay.
and so I believe that when you have a hustle, you attract the right people around you, and then when you attract those people, you have to humble yourself and be prepared to receive what they have to offer. And
Yes.
so for me, ever since I was a kid, I grew up on public housing, government assistance, government cheese,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Hand me downs. My cousins, I used to wear my cousins' hand me downs, and jump in and out of dumpsters to pick cans and
Wow.
bottles back. And I'm aging myself because I'm talking about the bottles that we
Yeah.
used to recycle back in the day.
Yeah.
But wash cars as a kid. I could have been snatched. I mean, literally,
Wow. Yeah.
I'm at gas stations pumping gas, 8, 9 years old for change. Been run out of grocery stores because I'm trying to sack people's bags and
Wow.
and and I'm crushing their eggs and their bread. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
but I'm the oldest of four, and when the household needed money, that's what I was doing. But I always had, the dream of being an entrepreneur. So
Right.
when I got out of the military, came home, got into real estate, and real estate was where I made my first million. And I remember at that point in time, I got a loan from a guy, Mr. Landry. He was a fireman, and I borrowed $5,000 from him, and I went opened up a office. It was a 7 suite office, and most of the money went to that. And I took the other, I would say $700 that was left, and went bought a whole lot of those yellow signs. and so
Okay.
and so my wife and I would ride around the wealthy neighborhoods, and we would post signs in those yards, and we refi. We do short sales, we do all of this different stuff, and so I would write, she would drive, I would jump out, post signs, and then we created a 7-figure business out of that. Basically,
Wow.
because we was doing loss mitigation. We was one of the first in Houston to do it. As a matter of fact, I was showing banks how to do short sales and helping their short sale departments and loss mitigation departments um, refine, how they did business, and so they wouldn't
Hmm.
lose customers and lose homes. But that's where I made our first million, and the second million came in coffee. And
Okay.
so it's crazy because I never drank coffee,
Yeah.
and but it came in the form of healthy coffee, and we made millions on 8 figures in healthy coffee over a 15-year period of time. As a matter of fact, that's when I had my first experience and taste of residual income,
Right.
because you know residual income is nothing better for residual income than somebody's habit.
Right.
And so when you can give them a healthy habit, that was my thing there. I have a residual income, that's attached to something that somebody's going to do that basically they're going to get healthier for doing. And so
Yes.
for 15 years, I know we average somewhere around about 50, 45, $50,000 a month in just recurring orders internationally. So and in that run, I really put myself in position to do great things because I tied myself to people who were geniuses.
Yep.
And so people who really understood money, understood industries, understood systems and everything else, which is, where I really became a student, of the industry, but also just business in general. And then after that, investing, and
Yeah.
so I took the system approach, to the investment arena. And
Right.
I remember I had a couple of opportunities that I made 100 grand out of the gate in the first 30 days. And so went on to make, over $1 million in investing. And so, um, on my 50th birthday 3 years ago, I
Right.
retired and from the network marketing arena, and And as I said, I'm just going to live my life investing, live my life, with my family and just enjoying it. And then y'all came up with this company called Build,
Yeah.
and messed my retirement up. And so I'm like, you know
Right.
what? I
Couldn't pass it up.
couldn't pass it up. Bro. I'm like, I've been taught better. And like I said, when you know better, you do better. And there's nowhere in the world I was going to let for me, an 8-figure situation get by me.
Right. No, that makes sense because you've got a lot of great experience. You've seen the industry. Now you see something that's never been done before, right? That's
Mhm.
one of the things that we pride
Yeah.
ourselves here.
Mhm.
Something that's never been done before in a couple of industries that come together,
Yeah.
right? To create something really unique,
Extremely unique.
extremely
Oh
unique.
my
Yes.
God,
High
yes.
ticket sales
Yeah.
meets direct sales
Right.
with passive and residual income.
Right.
And you know what? I've been involved also in the industry of direct sales and network marketing for
Mhm.
many years, and you know, I see a changing of the guard in the industry.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of changes. So, tell me a little bit about the changes you see in that particular industry and why it's not the same as it used to be.
Yeah. There's evolution in everything, first of all. And, the thing I liked about companies like Amazon and companies like Uber, they're multi-sided platforms. They offer, they go from one service to now offering multiple.
Right.
And so when I saw this business model, high ticket sales, it's crazy because I was actually in the process of learning how to open up a high ticket sales company, and I was going to do that.
Right.
And I was actually, matter of fact, well, man, you talked about that. I was actually doing that, and I ended up seeing your business model because my high ticket sales prices were going to be about between $1,500 to $5,000.
Yeah.
But then I looked at yours and saw that the average commission split on the bottom end was about $3,500 to $5,000.
Right.
So I'm like, look, this is bad math.
Right.
So I don't have an ego. I have an understanding. So,
Yes.
so when I looked at, the fact that you had a high ticket sales company, you had solar as your flagship, product or service, and who solar was centered around, like
Right.
your installers, because I never cared about doing solar business based on all the horror stories I heard.
Yeah.
But to see that you are, partnered with Freedom Forever, that got me because who you tie yourself to means a lot to the
Yes.
world because they get a
Yes.
chance to now judge you based on that. So I looked at that. Then I looked at the fact that not only did you guys have aspirations for expanding your product line and service line, you
Yep.
already had ADT. Brinks was coming. It's here now.
Yes.
You also were going commercial. Watt Hub is here now.
Yep.
And then there's other things that you guys got to stay tuned for because things are coming that we're announcing and we're launching as a company that I got excited about because it's not a one-stop shop. If solar is not for you, look at this company as somewhat of a business mall
Right.
where entrepreneurs come and shop for opportunities and also a career center where people who want to have a great life without recruiting can come and have a really nice 6-figure monthly income if they're ready to work.
Yes.
And so that's what I loved about the business model. It was everything that they designed network marketing to be.
Yep.
But the difference between this is that 100% of the people that walk through these doors can make a 6-figure monthly income
Yes.
without recruiting, while 95% of people in network marketing don't make money at all.
Yes. You know, you bring up such great points, right? I was just writing some scripts for some ads that I'm going to do.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I talk about is the ability to make that 6-figure or multiple 6-figure income off your own pen
Right.
without relying on anybody.
Mhm.
Direct sales, network marketing, that's great. Team building is awesome. It's all about
Mhm.
leverage. For me, it's all about leverage. Residual income, passive income, getting paid more money based on
Yeah.
the efforts of other people because I build my brokerage, because
Mhm.
I build my business. It's great. But there's some people, real estate professionals, sales professionals,
Right.
they're like, look, man, I don't like to deal with anybody.
Yeah.
How can I make $200,000-$300,000 a year plus
Mhm.
with my own efforts? Do you have an opportunity for me? Yes.
Mhm.
Now, in addition to that, because we're talking about high ticket sales and because this is the solar industry, which is our flagship product. But again, as
Mhm.
you mentioned, there's other high ticket items that are
Right.
all 6-figure opportunities
Right.
within themselves without building a team, just selling that.
That's correct.
That's why no other company's ever done that. In network marketing, for example, you want to make 6 figures, you need about 10,000 people in your network to make a 6-figure residual income. It's just how it works.
Mhm.
We could do that with less than 100.
Yeah.
Passive.
Yeah.
We're talking about no passive income where you could ride off into the sunset, make 100, 200,000. Now, that is not an income claim. If you do nothing, you will make nothing, right?
But I claimed it. I claimed it.
Right,
That's why I'm
exactly.
here.
Let's claim it into existence. Exactly. But that's never been done before. And the thing is, and that's part of the reason why we shoot the podcast.
Right.
I think so many people in that industry are not here yet because they haven't heard of us yet. And that's a key word. Yet. Yeah. As soon as we continue to grow, we got to launch it. I mean, we haven't even launched. As of the recording of this, we're 38 days away from launch.
Correct.
Imagine we got a guy that made 6 figures in the month of March, all from home, not based on residuals or overrides.
Right.
Off his own efforts. That has never happened in network marketing.
Right.
And we haven't even launched yet, Sam.
Haven't launched yet. Launched yet. Yeah. And that's the thing is like when I first got started, I knew that with the people who I had, in my database, they were not solar pros. They had zero solar experience. But I said, you know what? What they can do is they can go tell somebody about an opportunity.
Yes.
And so for me, the residual side, remember, I'm a residual. My brand is Prick, PRIK, basically perpetual residual income king. That's who I am. So anything residual, everything residual, I got my eyeballs on it. So I'm looking at the membership, side of what you do and build. And I'm looking at how simple it is for a person to get, to $500, which is hard in network marketing. It's real simple here. And so you can get a person to $500 a month. And residual, you can get them to 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, which is why I have a goal of getting to $250,000 a month in 12 to 18 months, just on the residual side alone.
See, that's another thing that in solar, for example, high ticket sales, that doesn't exist. Passive income, there's a difference, right? There's passive income, then there's residual income.
Correct.
So what we did with the comp plan is we have a Build Network is the network marketing company. You got the Encore Solar division is the direct sales, high ticket sales override side. So you got residual income and passive income. So those people that love to build a team, they can focus on, like you said, building a team. Yeah. As leads come in, the closers close those leads. I make my overrides accordingly, but at the same time, I'm building my residual income over on this side to the tune of $250,000 a month. That's the last position. And by the way, that's $250,000 in the dual team. That doesn't include check match bonuses. Right. That doesn't include coded bonus, and that doesn't include your solar and security and commercial solar overrides and the rest of the stuff. Again, but here's what happens though. We're doing this. We're going on the hockey stick growth. As soon as X amount of people in the industry that have that leadership, that proper leadership here, then this is what happens. Boom. Right. So I truly believe with what we've put together, Sam, that we are going to create a legacy company, one of these booms, right? Like some of these big companies that we've seen in the past.
And the thing about I love about it is that you had to be, a person who had a huge team or exceptional leadership skills, or exceptional, sales skills in network marketing to win. Or you had to get there first, something that it always had a caveat to it. Right. But you had a ton of people who never made any money, as I talked about. But I have a young lady out of Maryland, by the name of Sarah George, who last month did multiple deals as a sophomore in college. One of her deals netted her, and it wasn't a gross before split. This is after split, netted $15,000 on one of her deals. And so never in network marketing has it ever happened before. Right. And so for me, I get a chance to celebrate that. I get a chance to introduce that to the world. And so I'm excited because for me, and my logic behind it was like, you know what, let me get in and build this team, build this residual income, and teach my people how to do it. And we'll learn solar along the way. Yes. And it's growing organically, man. And it's a beautiful situation. A lot of people are opening up to it. They're enjoying it. And they're being empowered.
Yeah. I mean, it's a career path, right? Like in network marketing, you've got like, hey, this is your little side business. And people look at it like my little side business. When they come here and they're in the high ticket sales, they don't look at it like their little side business. They look at it as my business and career path. Yeah. Those people that want to treat the solar business seriously, they say, I want to make 6 figures just off my own efforts plus while I'm building my brokerage, while I'm building my passive income and my residual income, right? So the question that I have for you is this. You love high ticket sales. So what is the difference to you between everything Build has to offer, and high ticket sales?
Well, like I said, high ticket sales. You see high ticket sales with people with regular credit.
Right.
Business credit will help you get business credit. Will help you become a mentor. Will help you speak. Will help you. It's a lot of things that are out there that are in the high ticket sales arena, and everybody's doing it. It's the next big thing. But when you look at build, it's not like anything else out there because one, you got the solar aspect of it. It's a big ticket sales with a high degree of affordability. So it's not
Yes.
like that big ticket is coming out of people's pockets, right?
Yes.
And not only is it not coming out of people's pockets, it's 0% down in most cases. One, two, a person is literally saving money from day one because they're swapping that old expensive bill out with the brand new one.
Right.
Okay. And then, with the ability to pay it off right away, or, just take it out to the life of the lease of the loan.
Yep.
And so, again, just putting a person in that situation where they can come in and just having one referral a month, successful install can put them at, 50 grand, 50 grand to 100 grand a year, a
Yep.
month, one a month.
Yep.
Right. And that's the thing about Build that I see that you can do with Build, and it's high ticket, sales platform that you can't really do with others. Other
Yes.
ones you have to be great at sales all over again. Yeah, everything. Remember, everything else is so redundantly sold out there. Like it's a Me Too world out there, and
Yes.
and so you gotta outshine the people who are already shining, people who are already winning, people who are already carved out a niche in the market. We're first to market, in this
Yes.
situation. So we're not just doing solar, we're doing it right. We're not just doing high ticket sales, we're doing it right. And we're
Yes.
not just doing it so we can win. We're doing it because everybody else can win.
Right.
You
Right.
know.
I love it, man. I love it. And there's a lot of things that go into it, right? Like you said, doing solar right.
Mhm.
That is true. Doing solar, we audit every deal.
Mhm.
We give our reps the best commissions in the industry, the best overrides in the industry because of the business model that we have, that Costco like business model,
Mhm.
where because of that membership that gives people so many benefits, is why they're able to get the best pricing. So somebody asked on that, we did a Zoom with a couple of folks the other
Mhm.
day, and somebody
Right.
asked a question: do you guys have a price match guarantee? And I said, no,
Mhm.
we have a price beat guarantee
Exactly.
because we are a direct broker that cuts off all of the middlemen so we could give you a better service, better product,
Right.
American made products with W-2 employee installers, not subcontractors. We're not playing the game of let me subcontract some guy a hired gun,
Right.
another company or a couple guys from Craigslist to
Right.
go and install your panels for cheap so we can make some money. No, 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 no.
Mm.
13 years in business, our installer,
Right.
W-2 installers. Now, does that
Mhm.
mean that they're perfect? There's nobody's
No.
perfect. There's no
No.
perfect company, but it is as best as it gets in the industry, especially and then covering 35 states that we cover. So
Mhm.
the way I say all the time, Sam, when it comes to solar, for example, all roads lead here.
Yeah.
It might sound cocky to some people, and that's not what I'm trying
Right.
to do. I'm just saying, listen, I've seen out there.
Right.
My team and I did 2,100 installs in our first 3 years. Not a lot of people did $105 million in sales in their first 3 years
Correct.
in solar, right? With no experience. It started during the pandemic.
Mhm.
So you learn some stuff,
Right.
right? So switching gears to, like, for example, network marketing.
Mm.
What does build to you mean to the network marketing industry?
Seeing the state that the network marketing arena is in, Build is eerily similar to the Statue of Liberty, and
Oof.
so when you look at the Statue of Liberty, it's kind of like if you look at the message, it says, "Bring me your tired, bring me your weak, bring me your beaten, your battered, whatever it is," and that's because Build is like the refuge, like the refuge for people who lost it all in network marketing.
Right.
People who are looking for something, people who really need to win, people who need to get their life back on track. And when you look at the network marketing arena, a lot of those people were, introduced to crypto platforms, passive platforms, where they lost everything else. A lot of
Yes.
people lost their savings, a lot of people lost their investments, their retirements, and stuff like that. And when I look at Build is one of those companies where a person can get all of that back in a short period of time.
Yeah.
Like I had some people who came to me who got started about 3 weeks ago that lost $20,000, and that was their entire savings because somebody said, "Well, you can make 1% a day, and you
Wow.
can double that, $20,000 in 90 days, and that $20,000 is gone, got
Wow.
locked into a platform." Well, I was sharing with them, how. not just Sarah, who got the $15,000 in one transaction, but how even if you took the average, not being a mentor in the company of $3,500 to $4,000 a deal, I said, if you refer 5 people successfully that get installs to the company, that's your $20,000 back.
Yeah.
And so you can't do that in network marketing. And so people are coming here because this is the one thing that they can see that makes sense. You can literally blueprint the income that you need and design your income and go out there and get it in more than one way. And
Yes.
so again, you can do it recruiting, you can do it selling, you can do it in a combination of both. But the most important thing is that you can do it here. So that's why
Yes.
people are coming here like they're coming to America.
Yeah.
The land of the free. And if
Right.
you want to free yourself from debt, you want to free yourself from the financial stress that you're bearing, and you really want an opportunity, without the restrictions, that come with network marketing, you need to come to Bill.
I love it. That's powerful, man. That's very powerful, especially for somebody like you. One of the things that people don't know that is very impressive, and I don't like to harp on the money so much, but this is an interesting fact. What is in the direct sales network marketing world? What is the biggest month you've ever had?
The biggest month in direct sales outside of investing, the biggest month I've ever had was $122,000. Now, as far as network marketing, the biggest month I've ever had was $89,000.
Right.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So that's serious money, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the thing is, in that course of 15 years with the coffee company, 15 years was it?
Yep.
Wow, you had a long run with that company. What was your income in that time? Total income?
Total income? Oh boy.
Approximately
about 8 million.
Right.
Yeah, about 8 million.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
That is some serious money, right? So a caliber of leader of your level to see what we're doing here and to come out of retirement when you didn't have to go and build day one. That happens to be the theme of the launch event, day one.
Love it.
Everybody says, one day I'm going to do this. One day I'm going to do that. One day this, one day that. One day I'm going to get out of debt. One day I'm going to take my family on vacation. One day until they run out of days.
Yeah.
Then one day they're laying in their deathbed wondering what happened. And so we say it could either be one day or it could be day one.
They laying on their deathbed realizing that one day is not on the calendar.
Exactly. There's
Right.
Monday through Sunday, but not one day.
Not one day. Monday, maybe.
So instead of being the one day guy,
right,
how about you be the day one guy or girl?
There you go.
So the launch event and that title, the CEO, Mr. Navarro, came up with it, right? Day one. And guess what? The subtitle is Rebuilding an Industry. Because we are rebuilding it. The days of going out and building a team of 1,000 people, or hundreds of people to make $500 a month are dead and gone, 10 to 20 people.
Yeah.
The days of the only way to make 6 figures is to build a massive organization of thousands of people to make 6 figures, 10,000 people, maybe 4,000, 5,000 people. You could do that off your own pen, or you could do that with a team of 10.
Right.
Instead of 1,000, how about a team of 10?
Right.
That is changing it. So you got that power along with the duplication of network marketing, the residual income, the passive income, the time freedom.
Yeah.
That's why we're rebuilding an industry, and we truly believe that.
Yeah. And when I saw the subtitle, Rebuilding Industry, I went back to Uber. I went back to Airbnb because those companies rebuilt industries. And so they're not the same. They evolved. And so the transportation industry will never be the same based on the fact that you'll jump into Uber fast. I don't even have a cab number in my phone.
Right.
It's either Uber or Lyft, and when it comes to hotels, I rarely ever, out of 100 stays, I probably stay in a hotel 3 out of 100. I'm always in Airbnb.
Right.
So when it comes to, making money, like you said, I've had groups that have had 200,000 people come through those groups in coffee in 32 different countries, but never made over $100,000. But I see here with just 20,000 people on the membership, that's $250,000 a month.
Right.
It's rebuilding the industry.
Yes.
Right. And so it's not going to look the same. It's not going to feel the same. It's going to be more dynamic, more powerful, just like Spotify and how you get your music. Yeah. Everything is being recreated. And so we're rebuilding and recreating how people make their money. It's nothing close to how your granddad used to make his money.
That's right. That's right. This is not your grandparents'
This is
network
not your
marketing.
grandparents' network marketing. This is high ticket sales and money on steroids.
Yes. Yes, that's a good way of putting it. So let's switch gears a little bit, bro.
Sure.
Very simple question for the entrepreneur or the sales professional, or frankly for anybody.
Right.
What does it take to win in business?
Humility.
Humility.
Yeah. It's a whole lot of answers that I can give you, but the one that means the most and that makes you the most money is humility. When you can sit down and take somebody else's idea as your own and really follow a simple set of instructions without deviating from the plan,
Right.
you can make a fortune.
Right.
And that's the key because, I remember when I first met my last mentor, I was in real estate and I went to an event begrudgingly, didn't want to go. I just went to get a guy off my back. But I went and saw someone train in a way that I never saw a person train before. I've watched a person connect with a room of people in a way I've never saw that happen before. And I'm like, you know what? My goal was to become a millionaire, but this person had a resume of creating millionaires already.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? I don't know what he knows because I haven't made what he made. So let me humble myself and let me put my
Yes.
ego in a box and say, you know what? It's not that I'm in the wrong vehicle. It's just I'm not attached to the right driver. And
Right.
so for me, I put my real estate career on hold, on ice, and I joined that company not because I believed in the company, but because I believed in the person who was just written up in the billionaire edition of the Millionaire magazine for creating millionaires.
Right.
And so when I made that decision, that changed everything, and how my life would, be shaped financially going forward. So for people who are coming into entrepreneurship, you need to find somebody who has, the lifestyle that you're willing to trade places with, the results that you're willing to trade places with, because those people have the secret sauce. They have the recipe. Those people have the strategies and the blueprints, and you don't have that.
Yes.
But you think that what you've done in corporate America or what you did in your last business is going to translate over here, and it's not.
Yeah.
And so with anything, you have to be humble. You have to be coachable, teachable, and trainable. And you just got to be willing to go through that process, from scratch, and don't skip any of the steps.
I love it. I love it. And one of the things is you mentioned about having humility, right? Following the system, listening to somebody that you choose as your mentor, right? And following that system. And that takes time, right? Too many people have the mindset, I believe, of that microwave success.
Yeah.
Right? Fast food isn't fast enough. They want it now.
Yeah.
And it's like it takes time. And it's crazy. I'm sure you've seen this in your career. And, like me, I've seen it a lot of times as well. You got somebody, finally they got their act together and they're being consistent. And then they throw in the towel right before they hit gold, right? Like the 3 feet from gold from Napoleon Hill, where they were so close. And I see that. And before Sam, I used to look at people like that and kind of like, it used to hurt me more than it hurts me now. And I'm not saying it doesn't hurt me. I'm not saying I don't care. That's not what I mean. But I've learned along the way that some people are going to quit.
Yeah.
Some people are going to go all the way. And I just say that's one of those that quits.
Yeah.
Now, I'll try to have conversations to a certain degree with people, especially if I know that they have the potential and, but you just can't do that for everybody, because if you're focused on building, on selling, on building your business, on doing what you've got to do, you don't really have time to like, look, we've got a system in place here that works. It's working for other people, it can work for you.
Right.
But I also think that a lot of people sabotage their success, and you just trained on sabotaging success. But I think a lot of people sabotage their success because they compare themselves to other people.
Right.
And they look at social media and they don't realize, dude, social media is a highlight reel of people's lives. Right? Comparison is a thief of joy. Nobody's posting their losses, man.
Nobody.
And then you might see somebody else, well, that guy's been in less time than I have and they've got a better rank, or they're doing better, or they made more money than me. It doesn't matter. Are you doing the best that you could do right now? Because I know many times in my career, I was at a point where I'm going like this and there's other guys that are going like this, but I stuck it out. I stayed consistent and persistent over an extended period of time. Then eventually ended up passing those people.
Right.
And that's what most people don't have. And they compare themselves to other people. And too many people quit way too early. And they don't. There's some people, man, that they'll quit. And then in the next 12 months, they're going to make 6 figures.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people lack mental toughness.
Right.
Again, that's the thing. And like you said, when you talk about the microwave effect, it's they're looking at industry, and they're looking at, yeah, I can make money right away, and when it don't happen right away for them, they have a one no, what we call a one no dream, or a two no dream. Somebody tells them no and they quit.
Yep.
And because they didn't have a dream big enough for them to stick and stay. That's another thing.
Yep.
Having goals and dreams that are bigger than your pain threshold.
Right.
That's important, because for me, when like when I was going through bankruptcy, foreclosure, repossession, back in 2008, when we lost everything, almost lost everything, I started coffee from scratch as a non-coffee drinker, as a non-network marketer.
Yeah.
And even though I had been in network marketing, I never made money in it.
Yes.
And so for me, I'm watching people come in and make $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month, $40,000 a month, and so instead of comparing myself, to them, I'm listening to my mentors saying, "Hey, don't compare yourself to them. What you do is you basically encourage yourself and encourage your people to continue, because if they've done it, you can do it. You may not do it in the same amount of time, but as you continue to grow, develop, and build and learn, you can get there one day."
Yes.
And so I had the one day mentality, the long play mentality, and plus I had the stick and stay mentality, where a lot of people were building on the recruiting side to get what they call a dual team bonus, the fast money. Again, that's their focus on the fast money.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. Whatever your agenda is, that's your agenda. And whatever your capabilities are, is your capabilities as well.
Right.
It just wasn't my ability at that time. But one thing that I had that was a blessing for me was connectability. So I can get a person in, and then I can build a relationship with them. I can build a vision with them. I can build a process with them that would keep them in the system, because they married the system, and that would keep them in long enough, for them to actually get to their wins. It would protect them from themselves as well. So when they became emotionally unstable, we always had calls, we always had events, we always had things in place to make sure that they don't do harm to their careers.
Right.
And so we had our, let's say our stick rate, our retention rate was a lot, better than most people's, not just in the company, but in the industry.
Right.
And so that's why I learned how to build a residual income. And when I learned that, I remember one event that we had at the Compact Center, the Toyota Center in Houston. And that month was my biggest month, 80 plus 89 grand. And that month, I think I did about 60 grand, 67 grand, something like that, and residual income.
Wow.
And one of my guys, one of the colleagues, he did about 85 grand in a dual team. And I'm like, man, 85 in a dual team, man, let's switch checks. He said, let's do it. He said, because next month this 85 grand ain't coming back. This is off of promotions. He said, next month, your 67 coming back.
Yep.
He's saying, well, that's off of residuals.
Right.
And I said, you know what, you got, you're right. Because I wouldn't even count my dual team money, but it was just the fact that, we built something sustainable. So what we do is, we get people in and we help them focus on the wins, not necessarily allowing them to focus on their losses or their defeats, and so it's important. The system is important. The environment is important. The support system is important, and people need it more than they know.
Yeah, there's people that watch the podcast that are in different businesses, right?
Mhm.
Whether it be direct sales, solar, real estate, network marketing, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And at the end of the day, regardless of what business you're in, having that DMO, a system for a daily method of operation. So DMO means daily method of operation, but having a system, like we have the 8-point system in our company, where these are 8 points you should generate daily. And this is a 12 or 13 activities. And here's how many points each activity generates you. If you want to know if you're on track, it's a minimum of 8 points daily.
Right.
Because I think in sales and direct sales and network marketing, people are like, well, I know I got to prospect people. I know I got to talk to people. I know I got to present.
Right.
But how much of that activity? And most people don't have the discipline to be organized to know, like, this is what I got to do, this and this and this, right? Well, if you have a system, they say people fail, systems don't. Right. That's why that acronym, save yourself some time, energy, and money, is what a system stands for.
Yeah.
So that's
when you throw the S on the back of that, systems and stress.
Exactly. Exactly. So what we did with that system is like, let's take all the guesswork out.
Right.
When somebody comes to me, JC, I've been in 6 months, man. I'm not really seeing the results I would like to see.
Right.
I just go back. Let's look at your 8 points for the last 6 months, man.
Right.
I guarantee you that the reason why is because you haven't been consistent with your 8 points. That is your daily method of operation. 8 points a day, 5 days a week. That's 40 points a week. Just like you work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week on average. People are used to 40 by 5, 8 by 5, 40 a week. So we made it like that on purpose. And the people I see that follow the system, they have the humility, like you mentioned, to follow the system, to follow through on the system, and to be consistent with it, are the ones, interestingly enough, that have better results than those that don't.
And think about it. You hear that when you say consistency, commitment to continuity and consistency leads to emotional stability, and that's the thing that most people don't get. Like if you go and find somebody that needs to lose weight, right? They know what to do. They just don't do it. And it's not how much you do, is that you do something every day.
Yes.
And so if you get on the floor and you do 5 push-ups a day, one day you're gonna do 10.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
You get on the treadmill and you say, you know what, I'm gonna walk on one where I'm barely moving, and I'm only gonna walk on one for 5 minutes. And you do that every day. One day it's gonna go up to 2 as a speed, and the next thing you know, you're gonna walk for 10, 15 minutes a day.
Yes.
And as long as you're doing something every day, you have something to build on top of it, which creates the emotional, foundation that you need, to give you the confidence and the joy and everything that goes into it. So it's the same thing with your building. When you look at the 8-point system, doing something every day, like making a phone call. If you're making 1-2 phone calls a day, do that, because it's better than what you did yesterday.
Right.
Just commit to doing it. If you're following up, same thing. You just do something in your business every day on purpose, and then you'll find that you'll increase it, every day. And next thing you know, your results will increase, your installation numbers will increase, your recruiting numbers will increase, and next thing you know, your team numbers will go out there and multiply. And now you're looking back trying to figure out how I got to $20,000 a month without selling nothing.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
Yeah. Doing something every day, bro.
That's right. Every day, as the saying goes, it's an apple a day that keeps the doctor away.
Exactly.
Not 7 apples on Sunday, right?
Right.
Yeah,
That's a bellyache right there.
It's every day is one of the things I preach over and over. I learned this from Jeff Olson. You've got to master the mundane.
Yeah.
For us, the 8 points is a mundane. You prospect 2 people per day. You generate your 8 points a day. And here's the things that you do. And what do you do the next day? You do it again. If you want to ask me how I built the team that I built in my careers, the teams that I've built in my careers, the success, the money that we've made. For example, in our business, right, with Build Network and our solar division, Encore Solar, I have some guys that veterans in solar. They come to me and say, JC, I thought you were full of it in the beginning when you said you were going to do what you could do. Then you blew everybody out of the water. 7,000 people, you outsold everybody. How in the world is that possible for a rookie to do that? That started during the pandemic. I started late March 2020.
Right.
I was door knocking, bro, in California, a blue state, when the pandemic started and they said, everybody stay home. But I was broke, busting, disgusted. I went from being a millionaire to being broke. Then I said, but my thermostat is multiple 6 figures a year at least. That's my financial thermostat. So you can't keep, like, let's say you got the thermostat set to 70 and it's a hot day and you open up the windows. It's going to get hot, but eventually the AC is going to kick in. Right. It's going to take it back to 70 because that's where it's set to.
Exactly.
So everybody has a financial thermostat. So my financial thermostat is set to no less than $300,000 a year on bad years.
Right.
So I knew, okay, I lost a lot of money. I'm not making the kind of money that I'm used to. I got to go and figure it out. So I joined the solar industry. And people say, what did you do? This was like at an event, right? So there wasn't a lot of time. So the guy even said, like, what tip can you give me, bro? I know that you're busy. I know you got people that want to talk to you and stuff. What can you tell me? I said, I'll tell you 3 things that I focus on. I recruit, I sell, and I train to recruit and sell. You focus on selling. So you're unemployed after every sale.
Right.
You are always looking for leads. I got 2 to 10 preset appointments daily. I give away leads, but I make more money from my team than I do from my own efforts. And I make multiple 6 figures on my own efforts. And I make more from my team. So I could ride off into the sunset and still make hundreds of thousands of dollars without doing anything. And in a nutshell, I recruit, number 1. I sell, then I train these people to recruit and sell like me. Now,
Mhm.
there's a little bit more to it. There's systems in place, but in a
Right.
nutshell, that's what I do. You figure that out. And what I did is I did events called the Mentor Factory. I still do them. I did them 3 years in a row. This will be the fourth.
Mhm.
And I said, you should come to my Mentor Factory. I teach it on for 2 days. I give you everything. Even if you're not a part of my team, you come over, I'll teach you everything. That guy
Mhm.
was at the event. He didn't believe in team building. He didn't believe in leverage because, in solar, you can make 6 figures plus
Right.
multiple 6 figures on your own efforts.
Right.
That's a good thing and that's a bad thing.
It is.
Because what happens is that's that golden handcuffs. There's people that have a job that make a 6-figure income, but they don't see their kids. Somebody else is raising their kids. When they get home, the dog barks at them because they don't recognize them. That's a golden handcuffs.
I never heard that one before.
Think about it, man. Your old dog barks at you,
Right.
right? So I'm like, that's a golden handcuffs. What you got to do is you got to learn business. I ask people, do you know what passive and residual income is? Yes. Do you have any? No. Then you must not know.
don't know
Because
what
you'd
it
run
is.
through a brick wall to get it.
If you knew what it was.
If you knew what it was.
Yeah.
So let me show you.
Right.
But see, I tell people I sell more because I'm sold more.
Right.
I'm more sold than you. I am more passionate than you. So my efforts, that's why I got less voice than you at the end of the day, because I talk to more people, because I'm generating more points, because I'm fired up. And people are afraid not to follow me because they know, shoot, that guy's going to the top with or without me.
Yep.
I'd rather him go with me than without me.
Keep in mind, one of the fears that you're born with is the fear of abandonment, and it sticks with you from childhood to adulthood. You don't want to get left behind because remember, think about it. When you Maximus, when he was a kid, and you take him to the store, as an example, he sees a toy aisle. He's playing with toys, and so. And you say, "Come on, Maximus, it's time to go." And he acts like he don't hear you, right? And it's, Maximus, let's go. And he acts like he don't hear you, right? And then you said, "Okay, I'm gone." You turn around and walk. The toy hits the floor, and he's running after you.
That's right.
Well, it's the same exact thing. You're telling these people on social media. You're telling these people when you call them, "Hey, let's go," and they act like they don't hear you. Right? They act like I got a great life, got a good life. I'm good. I got better ideas than you. And you say, "Let's go." And they act like they don't hear you. And then when you turn around and make 6 figures in a month, they drop what they were doing and they come running behind you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's no different from a
love
child to adult.
It's so true. It's about posture, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's about posture. I was talking to a guy in Texas that worked with my last company. He says, "I'm sick and tired over here. I need to make a move." I was like, "You know what your problem is? That you got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You got a little check that you're holding on to that's dwindling because the company's not doing that good. Your team is not doing that good, but nevertheless, you got a little check. You're not willing to take that bold move to make a move and to say, I'm gone. Those of you guys that are coming, I'm going to build an empire here. Blah, and you did it before, you could do it again.
Right.
But you got to believe in yourself enough. But if you're kind of like secretly having conversations with your team, right? They're like, well, you're not bold enough to make the move. Nah, you're not confident enough. I'm not confident enough to follow a weak leader.
Keep in mind, we're dealing with an industry of facades.
Right.
And so you have a lot of people who, were making multiple 5 figures a month that really don't know how they made 5 figures a month.
Yes.
So when it goes down to 4 figures a month, they can't leave it because, they don't know how to get it back.
Yes.
And so it's not that they are, all the time with 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out of the door, saying, you know what, I don't want to leave this because what I got over here is better. It's just, they just know if they left that,
right,
they may not ever make any more money again.
It's true.
And so you have a lot of people who missed the opportunity to learn from a JC, when he's in the field, in the trenches, grinding. And this is the best time for you guys to join Bill because he's in the field building it from scratch. So when JC is, 18 months from now and 2 years from now, and he's $5 million a month, in this industry and in this company, and he doesn't have to do anything. And all he's doing now is behind the scenes, brokering more deals and white labeling companies and bringing on other services. And he's not in the field. You miss that moment to learn from him. And that's what most people do. They miss the moment to learn from the people who are actually out there doing it right before. Because, I always talk about helping people and, I learned this from a mentor. I'm not going to steal this stuff and not give him credit for it. But, people always say, well, when you ask them, why are you doing this? And you say, well, I want to help people. Well, the only way you can help a person is go win in front of them. And so don't do it for them, do it in front of them. And then if they do it, then you've helped them. And if they don't, there's nothing you were able to do for them to begin with. And so, but a lot of people, they get caught up, they making $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, and they're worried more about showing people how much money they have than showing people and then learning how to go and make that money and duplicate themselves.
Yep. I love it. It's
Yeah.
so true, man. It's so true.
Yeah.
No, well, that's exciting, man. Listen, it's super exciting to work with a leader of your caliber, and you're absolutely crushing it. Which I'm not surprised, right? When I knew that you were going to start working with us, I was not only honored, but I was a little bit surprised that you came in so early because we had even less than we have now.
Mhm.
Now we had a lot of good stuff in place, but I
Yeah.
mean, frankly, we were shoot. That was before our pre-launch.
Yeah.
That was like a couple of weeks before our pre-launch.
Right.
And so I sit back and there's a lot of stuff as a company that is getting worked on, that is getting better, and it's only going to get better. But to think what's happened in such a short period of time, and our launch isn't until over a month from now.
Right.
The future looks bright. So what message, Sam, would you have to people, whether in direct sales, in network marketing, sales, whatever industry they're in, that are looking at this from an outside point of view? What message do you have those people as far as partnership with our company?
Well, when you talk about partnerships, that's a very, very important word. And right now, that's another thing that's wrong with the network marketing arena. And so what a lot of network marketing professionals who have built multiple 5-figure and some 6-figure incomes are finding that you're not allowed to retire as promised.
Right.
Because residual income, you were supposed to be able to create a residual income and walk away and go do whatever you want to do with your life. But what you're finding is that a lot of the network marketing companies are now punishing you by either taking that money from you and or trying to find a way to terminate you, and they're doing a lot of unethical things in the industry. So for me, when I looked at the company, I could care less about everything until I figured out who I was in business with.
Yes.
And so when I was taking that position, I took it almost as a favor, because it's $200. So
Yep.
that's one thing. And but the other thing is this, if I made a little money every once in a while, I'll throw somebody, a bone and get $3,500 here, $7,000 here, that's cool. But then when you offered to fly me out to California, that changed everything because I showed up, I got a chance to meet yourself in person. I got a chance to meet Mr. Navarro in person. I got a chance to meet the Pachecos in person. And what I found is that, all y'all were spiritually grounded, one,
Yep.
in unison. Two, everything was all about the people, and so that was very, very important. You can learn a lot from, about a company by learning a lot about the people who you're in business with.
Yes.
So I bought into, the people who are at the helm of the company before I bought into the actual company.
Right.
And so when I left, I left knowing I was in the right place at the right time with the right people. And I left knowing that if I built something, I really didn't have to worry about, having to protect it from the company one day. And
Correct.
so that was important. And
Yep.
so if I didn't have to protect it, it means my people didn't have to protect it.
Right.
So when I got that confirmation about ownership, then I got excited about the compensation plan and its abilities and the services, and whose services are provided by it. So it's like everything that every box is being checked, and so when you look at the business, because most people, quite honestly, don't know how to evaluate businesses.
Right.
Right. And so you have people who will tell you no and act like they are the most educated person in the world and don't know anything about anything. But for a person who really is saying, I want to make a business decision and they're looking for boxes to be checked, no, they're all checked here.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing that I looked at. I'm like, every box is checked, So from Freedom Forever, and then what they bring to the table, to the compensation plan with residual income, with leadership, ownership, and then just the rates that our people get. That's another thing. The customer, because remember that there's a win-win-win situation that has to be had,
Right.
and that's another box that you have to check. If the customer wins and the salesperson loses and the company loses, it's a win-lose,
Right.
lose, and so the salesperson wins, the company wins, and the client loses. It's a win-win-lose.
Right.
But when everybody wins, when the company doesn't get shorted, the salespeople don't get shorted, and the customers have a great experience with huge savings, oh my God, it's a win-win situation. And so that's the one that you always want to be in. And for people who are honest with themselves, saying that's what they want, if you really are true to what you say you want, you'd be here.
Right. I love it.
Yeah.
It's so true. And, you know, it's so powerful, right? What we're offering. How many people use electricity? Everybody uses electricity. There's other things that everybody uses that we're not going to talk about here today that are exciting.
Right.
I obviously, you know, but I just think I feel very confident about where we're at. And we do have a philosophy. A lot of companies say, you know, it's a company built by distributors for distributors. And I think sometimes that's true, but I think most times it's not.
Most times it's a slogan.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
You know, and so here we do have the, you know, Mr. Navarro at the pre-launch event says something key, says, we want to pay more money than everybody else every time on time, right? On time payments, pay more money than everybody else, of course, while keeping the balance of making sure the company is healthy, right?
Yeah.
You got to make sure that the goose that's laying the golden eggs is healthy,
It's
right?
healthy, right.
So we figured that out, and there's a very unique system, and that's why as people start to see, they start to like it more. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and he says, JC, after looking at the comp plan, after talking to you and everything, we were on the phone for 3 hours yesterday. I didn't even realize 3 hours had gone by. A friend of mine in Chicago, super sharp guy. And he says, let me ask you a question. I hope you don't get insulted. I said, I don't think you could ask me something that'll insult me. He says, thank you. We're friends. And I didn't think I have to preface that, but just in case, ask away. He says, a lot of companies start with a comp plan, very aggressive, just to get a lot of people and get a lot of momentum. And then they later pull the bait and switch. You know, what are your thoughts on that? Tell me the truth, you and I, because if I do this, when I do something, JC, I'm all in like you, 100%.
Right.
I said, brother, look, as aggressive as a comp plan is, a company is healthy. And yes, you're right. There has to be a level of trust between you and the company. But we've got it set up where we have a philosophy that if we pay you this type of money, this much money, and we are consistent and, again, paying it on time, every time, we're going to grow a big, big company, man. You know what I mean? And so you don't have to worry about that because we really are a company that is by distributors for distributors. I'm on the field as a VP. I'm on the field. I'm building this business. I was on the field a couple of months ago. It isn't like, oh, we're owners that were on the field guys 10 years ago. No.
You're
This
not
is
dictating by words, you're dictating by your actions.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think, and our people can see, and you see the community that we've built already is a community of people that are fired up for a mission. You know, I'm a big fan of A.L. Williams, and A.L. Williams says the crusade. So we are on a crusade to save people financially, to build their mindset, build their net worth, build their network and their business, right? And that is a crusade. Also, guess what? It's a quadruple win because the environment wins too.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? So
you're right about that.
Think about it, bro.
You're right about that.
How many times do you find a win-win? Must say it's a quadruple win. So that's what we've got here, man.
Yeah. No, that's amazing, bro. And the thing about it is, it's just another testament to the ownership that you guys really want what's best for the people. Like you said, the company is built, you know, by the people for the people. Well, I wasn't even, you know, a part of the leadership panel at that time.
Yeah.
But when I came to that event, you know, here in California, and we went to dinner. Yeah, and that Sunday, you know, matter of fact, I changed my schedule to leave a day later so we can have that dinner. And at the table, you know, you guys say, look, we don't have it all figured out, you know, but what would you do in this situation? And as we talked different things through, you guys were adapting on the spot. You was taking the information, processing it, and using the information on the spot. Like you guys were evolving on the spot, like the humility and flexibility,
right,
you know, that you guys showed me, that really put the nail in the coffin for me. Like it was, that made me go home and change everything up. That made me go home and put stuff on ice and say, you know what, we didn't find a home. We're about to build a home. And so this is going to be a special run, you know, because it's built around special people, and it's got to start from the top because, you know, that's where fish rise from, right?
That's
and
right.
So, but when you got great leadership at the helm of the company, anything is possible and nothing stays the same.
I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
I've got one more question for you before we wrap this up.
Sure.
You made a lot of money in the industry, and you and I were both in the same industry as far as network marketing with Healthy Coffee, different companies.
Mm-hmm.
I did pretty good, not as good as you, but you've made a lot of money. Tell me about our third product that we launched, which was a Smart Money Club. Tell me about what that means to you and what it would have meant to you had you known that when you were making all that money over 10 years ago.
See, you got to think about it. Since 3% of the people around the world control the wealth, that means only the kids of the 3%ers, are taught that stuff out the
Yes.
gate. So everybody else you have to acquire that
That's a good
information.
point.
And so most people don't know what to do with a dollar.
Right.
And so like my first million that I made in real estate, I don't know where it went.
Yeah.
I literally blew it. Right.
Wow.
And then, the second the millions that I made, I managed a whole lot better because, I literally had, the right people behind me. And, but again, I made, some bad investments, huge investments based off of believability for the people who I was following
Right.
at that time. So, whole entirely different situation. But you hear about it, all day, every day. Antoine Walker, and I use his example because he had $100 million contract and he played for the Celtics, and he's broke.
Wow.
And that's unfortunate. You have 18%. My friend Rod Smith, future NFL Hall of Famer, should be in there now. But he's a self-made millionaire, built from scratch. Wasn't drafted, played on the practice squad, and he took all his money and multiplied it. And he did that by having a mentor by the name of Robert Kiyosaki, who we all know. He's
Right.
mentored directly by Robert,
Yeah.
monetarily, for economics and finances. And so, but he told me that let's say 18 months later, after a person leaves the NFL, they're broke.
Right.
80% of them are broke. And it's that they basically don't know how to manage money. Nobody understands how to manage money. Nobody knows the language of economics.
Right.
And so, when you are looking at all these people, especially in network marketing, you have people who come across a ton of money, but none of them have it anymore.
Nope.
And so they know how to make it. They just don't know how to keep it. They don't know how
Right.
to sustain it. They don't know how to scale it. They don't know how to turn it into wealth and legacies. And
Yes.
so that's what I see with the smart money concept, because, and it's just genius because y'all almost giving away for free. Honestly, I don't believe that y'all are charging enough for it
Right.
to give it the value that it needs, because you have people out there for every component that we have on the smart money program. You have people out there selling that same program for $10,000. Come to my one weekend seminar for $5,000 or
Yep.
$20,000, and that's on the personal and the corporate side. So
Yes.
so it's not it's not Bill's responsibility to create your wealth.
Right.
Bill is literally putting you in a position where you can make as much money as you want, and it's your responsibility to create your own wealth. But at least build, unlike other companies that are out there, are legitimately equipping you, to put yourself in a position where you can control that and know
Right.
how to generate and create your wealth and your financial freedom. And the
Correct.
last thing you'll have, like you said, the motto companies, the slogan companies that are out there, the people who have things that look like smart money, they're pitching it, and it's the bait and switch. And so they'll
Right.
say they have these type of programs, these type of clubs, but they don't teach anything about money. They just use that as a title to pitch you, what is it, trading classes and stuff like that, and or
Yes.
whatever it is. They're not really teaching you about money. They're not
Correct.
teaching you about IULs, when it comes to insurance, and how to stop borrowing money from lending institutions and borrowing it from yourself
Right.
and getting paid twice on every dollar that you invest in it.
Yep.
They're not teaching you about credit health, and how to build your credit up, like a personal and business. They're
Right.
not teaching you any of this stuff,
Yep.
right? And so, but the Smart Money Club, it is, and I for me, growing up poor, I can just tell you right now, from a person who's had a ton of money and a person who had none, it's a blessing to know that when you are making it, a long way to making it, you're learning what to do with it. And that's what the Smart Money Club is doing for our people. And I just know that my core group of people, I told them, I said, look, it's going to be our top 10 or our top 20, or just 10 or 20 of y'all. When you get to 25 grand a month residually,
Yep.
we're going to create an investment club, and we're going to do other things outside of build.
Yes.
We're going to go buy properties. We're going to go buy doors when it comes to self-storage. We're going to go buy land and acreage so we can have our own solar farms. We're going to go do a lot of different things, and we're
Yes.
going to do it with the money that we're making on a residual basis. And
Right.
so that gives us a chance to go out here and really do what everybody else is promising to do,
Yep.
which is actually empowering people
I
and
love it.
putting the power in their hands with the Smart Money Club.
I love it, man. In school, there's usually classes, health, health 101 and health 102.
Mhm.
If they had wealth 101 and wealth 102, they'd be teaching what we teach in the Smart Money
Yeah.
Club.
Yeah.
The most updated stuff by licensed professionals from different aspects, because it's not enough just to make the money. You've made millions. I've made millions. I know that my first couple million, I don't know what the heck I did. There's some really stupid things with that money.
Yeah. A lot of it's in my closet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. So what happens is when I talk to Mr. Navarro and we're putting this together, he says, JC, we've got to have a component that we teach people because it's inevitable. We're going to have people making ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah.
We've got a monster here. We've got a diamond in the rough here. But it's not enough. It's such a shame to see people go from zero to hero and back to zero because they never had this information that the Smart Money Club, instead of $49 a month, I upgrade to $99 a month. I get the education that the wealthy, the wealthy of the world, that top 3% know, and I get to know it now. That way, by the time I get there financially, first of all, I'm setting myself up on the way there. It's not like you got to be there financially to get there.
Exactly.
You can set yourself up on the way there. And when you get there, you're educated. Right. And then when you combine that with this industry is a personal development vehicle with a compensation plan.
Right.
So when you're getting there and you're growing as a person, you also have more discipline and stuff, and you're able to do smarter things with your money and not go out there and waste it, but rather invest it properly. Yeah. We got a real winner here, man.
Yeah, think about it for a second. And just to piggyback on that, growing along the way, and learning that it basically what that's doing is increasing your financial thermostat.
Correct.
Basically. And so for a person who's out there, they're making $50,000 a year on their job, but now you become a member of Build and the Smart Money Club. So now you start to add, more wisdom, and the more and more your financial thermostat grows, the more and more your income grows. And again, it sustains. And if anything was to ever happen to it, when you got to $100,000 or $250,000 or $500,000, because your financial thermostat is set at that mark at that point in time,
right?
If something was ever happening where it go away, you wouldn't be worried because you would know how to get it back.
Right.
Okay? And so that's the thing. You'll see people you have people who are some of the wealthiest people in the world who went bankrupt 2 and 3 times. They lost it all once, twice, 3 times. And every time they got it back, they got it back in more abundant amounts. And so in surplus amounts. And so because their financial thermostat was still increasing even while they were in a deficit.
Right.
So when they lost all the money, remember, you have to learn something different, right? Which means you're compounding your learning, you're compounding your value, which is you're increasing your thermostat. So by the time you get back to that peak, out of that hole, but back to that peak, you're higher than you were before you lost it the first time. And so that's what that Smart Money Club is like, the way to adjust your financial thermostat, which is something we've been looking for forever.
Yep. I love it, man. Well, listen, it was an absolute pleasure to be on here, bro. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I would love to close it out with any closing thoughts that you may have.
Let's build.
Let's
build.
Let's go.
Let's just go, man. Let's build. Let's just go out here and change some lives, guys. Again, it's not about solar. It's about what solar represents. And again, it represents opportunity for people to go out there and have a lifestyle that they've always wanted. And if they're willing to work for it, we're willing to work with you. So I appreciate you for having me, bro. Thanks. Again, this is a joy. And anytime I'm in California, you want to sit down and have another conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to do it again next month for the convention, bro. So
there you go.
We're going to be back in the studio next month, my friend. So Sam, thank you so much, my brother. And how can people connect with you? What's the best way that people find you? Instagram, Facebook, what's the deal?
Facebook, actually, Samuel Bean, Economic Equalizer on Facebook. As you can find me there. I'm also on Instagram, Bean Samuel, and I don't have my VA here with me, so I don't know all of my other LinkedIn stuff. But I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, Facebook. But I'm there for you to find me. If you really want me, you can find me.
Well, we're also going to link all of your social media profiles to the description of the video. So
perfect.
Let's get it. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure that you share this video, like it, comment it. With that being said, I'll see you at the top or from the top. Take care.